Today you're going to be completing part 2 of your Surrealism collage, preparing your design for your Surrealism pen and ink drawing. We're going to be using the collage that we created to make a digital sketch or a plan for our actual drawing. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you how to do that. All right, so the first thing that you're going to need to do is go back to your team site and to the assignments tab, and you're going to need to find the assignment of the collage, the digital collage that we created in class before. And you're going to need to click the undo turn it in button on that team's assignments. We want to be able to re-edit it and then also turn it in again. Okay, so if you look, the very first step is to click the undo turn it in on team's assignment. And then again, we want to make sure that we open up that PowerPoint in the desktop app. I've already done that so that mine is ready to edit here on PowerPoint. Remember that desktop app gives you a lot more editing tools so that you can complete this assignment a lot easier than if you were to use the PowerPoint, internet version of that. All right, so what we're going to do, the other day, we completed part 1. All the directions for part 1 is on slide number 1. We did part 1 on slide number 2 and then on slide number 3. Okay, so slide number 2 has our completed digital collage ready to go. What we're going to do today is use either all of this collage or part of this collage and prepare a digital sketch for what we will use for our actual pen and ink drawing. So the directions for that are here on slide 4, and then we will create our digital sketch on slide 5. Okay, so what we want to do is follow the directions here. We've already clicked hopefully undo on the team's assignment. We've hopefully already opened up our PowerPoint in the desktop app. So step number 3 says take a screenshot of your digital collage on slide number 2. The way that you can take a screenshot if you're using a school computer or a HP computer or some sort of non-Mac computer is hit function print screen. So I want to show you the keyboard here. I have a picture of the keyboard. The way that you can create that screenshot is you're going to hold down the function button, which on my computer is right here. It's the button that has the FN. And then you're going to click the button up here that is the insert button up at the top. When you hold down the function button and click the insert button, that'll take a screenshot of your entire screen. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my digital collage here, and I'm going to press function and insert. Now I want to come to slide number 5, and I'm going to paste it into my slide. Now I have a couple monitors on mine, so it actually took a screenshot of both of my screens. On yours, it'll probably at least take that entire screenshot there. So I'm going to double click on my screenshot here, and I want to go ahead and I want to crop it so that I'm just getting my image. The reason why we're doing a screenshot on this instead of just copying and pasting the slide is that we might want to move things around. In this, if I were to try to move, I can't move the whole picture all at once. My picture is all in different parts. When I do a screenshot, I can just move the picture. So I'm going to go ahead and just resize that. And we're going to be turning this picture to black and white. We don't want to have to click on every single little thing that's in our picture to turn it to black and white. I want to be able to turn it to black and white in one step. Okay, so I've got my screenshot copied and pasted into slide 5, and I've cropped it so that I'm not seeing any of the rest of the screen that I don't want to see. All right, so I'm at number 4. I pasted my screenshot into slide 5. Number 5, I cropped the screenshot so the collage fills the entire slide. I'm ready to go to step number 6. Step number 6 says to change the photo to black and white. So I'm going to click on my slide 5, double click on my picture, and I'm going to come up here to my picture editing tools where it says color. I want to click on color and go to the very first slide that is right up here in the top left. When I do that, it changes my slide, my entire picture to black and white. Now, I may want to play around with contrast a little bit to make sure that my focal point and other things are showing up in my picture. So I might click on it again, go to corrections, and maybe just make sure that I have some nice contrast, light, medium, and dark values in my picture overall. All right, let's go back to our directions. So I have now changed my photo to black and white. Step number 7 says copy and paste one grid from slide 6 into slide 5. So now is where you get to start making some compositional choices for your design. Remember, we're going to be creating a pen and ink drawing from our collage. You can choose to use the entire collage, or you can choose to crop your collage and just use a portion of it. I have 2 different grids on this slide. One grid is in the landscape format, and one grid is in the portrait style format. So I may decide that if I wanted to do the entire picture, I would probably choose the landscape. I might decide to do a different part of the picture or resize the grid so that I'm not using the entire picture. These 2 grids, you can make them larger. So if I wanted to do my entire collage, I can copy the grid and I can paste it. And then I can drag it from the corner and I can make it bigger. One thing that you want to make sure you do if you're resizing is you want to make sure that these squares still look like squares. What I cannot do is resize it so much, like all the way across, so that these now look like rectangles. That'll make my picture not look proportionate when I go to draw it. So you're going to have squares on your paper, so you want to make sure that you have squares on your digital sketch as well. So if you're planning on doing your entire collage, you can do almost the entire collage, but you can't cover all of it. Okay, the other thing is that you cannot make the grids smaller than what they are here. You have to at least have your collage or your drawing be at least this much of the picture. You cannot make the grid smaller. Okay, so you can make your grid larger, but you cannot make it smaller than what it is when I copy and paste it onto this slide. So I can't just do a really small part. Remember that your picture that you decide to do for your pen and ink drawing, it still needs to be in that surrealism style. If you crop it too much, then you're probably not going to have many of those surrealism techniques. So you still need to make sure that it's still surrealistic in style. Another option that I can do is I could choose to crop my picture where instead of going landscape style, maybe I want to go portrait style. And maybe for my drawing, I want to do something more like this. Okay, where I'm really just zooming in on the portrait. But again, I still have some of those surrealism techniques in my design. I'm just zooming in and getting rid of a lot of that negative space for my actual drawing. Okay, so once you've decided which grid you want to use and you've resized it onto the slide, capturing the part of the picture that you want to do for your design, then you are ready to move on. So if I go to step number 8, it says position your table over part of the image that you want to do for your surrealism drawing. If you resize the grid must have squares, not rectangles. When you're finished with that, you're just going to go ahead and close that PowerPoint again. Make sure you click that Turn It In button again.